listening to LOA Recon with the Good Vibe coach Jeanette Ma, where we dissect the ins and outs and the art and science of conscious creation, all intended to amp up your manifesting game. Let's have some fun together. So before I started my business as a law of attraction coach, I worked in corporate financial world in the field of personal financial services. And that meant that I spent a lot of time working with people and their money. And I did that for like over a decade. So combining those years with the amount of time I've spent coaching people about their money and the studies I've done around conscious creation and money, I've kind of got some experience here about where we get kinked up with manifesting money. So I put together a list of 13 guiding principles about money to help us stay on good track for how we experience it and how we manifest it. I'll run through this list fairly quickly, but I think these are the sorts of things that are helpful for us to remember so that we can be better matches to the financial abundance we want to experience in our lives. So here goes. First principle. Oh my gosh, this is not a popular one. Okay, money is not as important as we make it out to be. No, that is not a popular thought in some circles. I've had people argue with me many times on this one. And I will admit, probably the first time I heard it, because I am not the first person to say this by any means, the first time I heard it, I thought, well, yeah, easy for you to say because you've got it handled. So it turns out, though, they're right. Money really isn't the big deal that we make it out to be. In fact, that leads us to our second principle, that making money important doesn't actually help us manifest it. It doesn't. It does the opposite. Anytime we make something like a big deal or really important, that like our well-being is conditional on it, that actually repels money rather than calls it in. So those two principles. First of all, it's not as important as we make it out to be. And second, it doesn't help anyway to make it important. Both of those are worth remembering and practicing. Let money have its proper place in your world. It is not the be-all, end-all of happiness. In fact, that's the third principle. Money cannot make us happy or free or peaceful or secure or whatever you think you're going to feel when you have the money that you want. Money cannot actually do that for you. Nothing can. Your partner can't do it. Your job can't do it. The state of your health can't do it. How you feel, it's your job, not anyone else's. And when we make money responsible for how we feel, it doesn't actually help let it in. So it's worth taking that off of money and being responsible for that ourselves, for how we feel. Because money cannot make you happy. There is lots of evidence out there proving that. Okay, fourth principle. There is plenty for everyone. Your abundance does not create someone else's lack. This is a tricky one for some people because they feel a little guilty or a little uncomfortable having more money than others do. They think that they're taking someone else's, and that's not actually how it works. This is an unlimited resource. I was thinking how even muggles might be able to see that, how they just print money like it was nothing. It is. It's just a made-up thing. But conscious creators know for sure that there's no limit. There's no such thing as a finite amount. Whatever we want is available to us. So I think that's worth remembering. There is plenty for everyone. Also, fifth principle, money is way easier and more fun than most of us have learned it to be, right? I hope you're an exception. Wouldn't it be cool if you were? If you weren't someone who was trained that money is important and that it's hard and you've got to work for it and you've got to be careful with it. That's the programming most of us get around money, but it doesn't have to be that way. In fact, it works way better when we know how to have a good time with it, when we treat it lighter and more loosely. So that's worth remembering. Sixth principle, you can attract money even in the presence of doubt and fear. I know this one from personal experience. We're working with a very forgiving system, so we don't have to get it 100% perfect to get good results. Some people are nervous that whenever they have a negative thought around money that they're undoing all their good or it's never going to happen as long as they entertain those fears. You know what? Not so. Even small improvements will result in some small changes. And the more that you let that build, the more powerful your manifestation gets. But don't get held up thinking that those negative thoughts are going to spoil your party. They might slow it down a little, but they aren't going to put a stop to it. So don't sweat it. 7th principle. Okay, the manifesting process slows up when we try to figure out how it's going to happen, or we try to make it happen ourselves. It's worth remembering that is universe's job, not ours. And universe is way, way, way better at it than we are. So let's remember our job. Our job is to align to what we want. That's find the vibration of what we want and then just do what feels good. Could our job be any easier? Okay, maybe it isn't so easy when we've been practicing a different way of being, but this is fun homework to engage. So let's remember our role in the process. It is not to figure out how it's going to happen or to go out and take that action ourselves. All we have to do is do what feels good once we get aligned. All right, the 8th principle. Relaxing about money actually makes us a better match for it. A lot of people think that if they stop worrying about money, things are going to get even worse. But the truth is, worrying about it does not help it come in. It does the opposite. Worrying about it repels it. I know I just said don't sweat it if you still have some lingering worries, but let's not let those run rampant, okay? Finding a way to feel better about money is what helps more of it come in. So relaxing is a good thing. 9th principle. There is a direct connection between your joy and your money. So getting happy is good for your bank account. In fact, I've had times in the past when I had an intention to manifest more money and I knew what that meant was I needed to find a way to have more joy in my life. There is a direct connection there because everything's vibrational. Conscious creators get that. 10th principle. Your financial fears or your money problems don't go away by manifesting more money. If you've been practicing the pattern of financial fear or money problems, even if you manage to manifest some money into your world, if fear is how you've been rolling, that's how you're going to keep rolling. You've seen this before. You've seen people with a lot of money. Their fears don't necessarily go away. Sometimes they even get worse. I've heard that. You've probably heard that before too, right? How money just makes everything bigger, like more money, whatever you've been flowing, it just expands it. Yeah, so if fears or problems is where you've been dialed, money cannot change that for you. You change that for you. That's on you, not on money. 11th principle. Okay, money is spiritual, just like everything else that exists in the world. Everything comes from spirit, including money. So it's okay to want it and it is okay to have it. Some people feel guilty or they feel like they're being non-spiritual or their friends look at them funny when they get all excited about manifesting money. You know what? It's fine. We get to want whatever we want. I will point us back towards our first principle, which says money is not as important as we make it out to be. But there isn't any reason that you should feel any kind of guilty about wanting to create it in your life. You get to have whatever you want. 12th principle. It helps to be as good at letting money go as you are at letting it in. Anything else slows the flow. In fact, we recently had Janice Whiting at Good Vibe University, she's from Lifted Spirits, tell us that saving money slows the flow. What I believe is that vibration of hoarding, like hanging on to it out of fear or out of just being cautious or worried about the future, yeah, that is not a great vibration to roll with. But I also know that it's easy for us to receive it, but sending it out can trigger a lot of fear around, will it come back? Or this means I have less, and like it's a bad thing. The way we are with oxygen, it would be great to be that way with money, where we trust that whatever we need is going to be there for us. We don't hoard it in vaults. We don't get mad at neighbors for taking more than what we think is their share. Whatever we need, I'm talking about oxygen, we trust that it will be there for us. When we need more, like when we're running, there it is. And when we're sleeping and we need less, that's fine. It would be great to have that same approach with money, that same willingness to let it in and out with just as much ease on both ends. This is one I'm still working on myself. It was kind of fun homework to have, like to get comfortable spending it, because anything else is kind of vibrationally kinky. Okay, 13th principle. letting money in is a skill worth practicing because a lot of us are not great receivers. And I don't just mean that on the topic of money. I mean in general, right? Most of us are good givers because we were trained to be. But our receiving muscles are not as well developed. And this is an important one because if we have any kind of discomfort or unfamiliarity with receiving, it's not great alignment. In fact, you've probably seen this happen with people, right? Oh, lottery winners, hello. When someone gets in more money than they're used to having, very often they find a way to get rid of it fairly quickly because there's a certain level that we're comfortable with. So anyone who's looking to manifest more money, you're going to have to know how to receive that in order for it to stick around. The bottom line, whatever we believe about money is what we're going to manifest. So if you want a different financial experience, you got to find a different vibration when it comes to money. And that's what I love helping people with. I got lots of blog posts at goodvibeblog.com on the subject of manifesting money. And if there's anything I can help you with, drop me a note. I'm at jma@goodvibecoach.com or check us out at Good Vibe University. It's one of our favorite topics. Thanks for listening and happy manifesting, everyone.